Across Australia, New Zealand and the South Pacific, this is the week's Adventist news in focus.
Hello, thanks so much for joining me this week. I'm Sibel Coutet. A range of human rights, legal and faith groups say Australians need clarity on the right balance between freedom of religion and anti-discrimination law. According to the Australian newspaper, Human Rights Commissioner Tim Wilson has expressed disappointment that the High Court has refused to review a controversial Victorian court decision on the issue. The Victorian Court of Appeal ruled last year that a Christian youth camp had acted unlawfully when it prevented a same-sex attracted group from using its facilities. Some legal experts say that religious freedom is not a very fashionable human right these days and is in danger of being lost in the mishmash of conflicting anti-discrimination laws. It's been more than 50 years since Martin Luther King Jr. observed that Sunday morning was the most racially segregated hour of the week, and it seems American Christians are still struggling with the same issue. A key leader of the traditionally white Southern Baptist Convention told a church conference it was blasphemy to continue meeting in segregated churches, a denial of the power of the resurrected Christ to reconcile. Meanwhile, a coalition of 34,000 African American churches has broken official ties with the Presbyterian Church over its support of same-sex marriage. And the Seventh-day Adventist Church in North America has affirmed its ongoing commitment to parallel administration structures for black and other churches, saying the current arrangements work well for reaching diverse populations and urban centres. It's anticipated that a number of controversial issues will be discussed by Adventist leaders and delegates during the 5-yearly General Conference session meetings in July. But church leaders are doing what they can to set the right tone. 100 days of prayer have been declared ahead of the session, calling for the power of the Holy Spirit to lead proceedings. And a successful search for bearded Adventists has resulted in the reenactment of the 1903 vision seen by church co-founder Ellen White that focused on the need for reconciling differences and confessing sins.
We as leaders have let God down. We must humble ourselves. We must become living examples of what a leader could be when Jesus is in his heart. How can we beg God to shake away this Laodicean slumber?
There are more news stories in this week's full half-hour Record in Focus episode, as well as these features. The latest political commentary from Canberra.
If the Greens can go into the CSIRO with whippersnippers and chop up test crops that are genetically modified, surely we can have a prayer vigil for something that many people feel very passionately about.
Why you shouldn't kiss dates goodbye. Sue Radd discusses the goodness found in those tasty treats.
So dates are really good if you have a high cholesterol. Yeah. Secondly, they're actually really rich in potassium.
And singer-songwriter Nicholas Zorc opens up about the importance of creativity in worship.
So I think worship is really a way of life. It's a different way of being in the world as a community in which we're orientated not toward ourselves, but toward God, and in being oriented toward God, we're also oriented toward God's priorities, which is everyone in this world.
You can see Record in Focus on Hope Channel, the Australian Christian channel on Foxtel, or free to air on Digital 44 Community TV in Adelaide. And of course, we upload each week's episode to our website for you to watch anytime and anywhere. That address is record.net.au. Thanks for your company. I'll see you next time on InFocus Adventist News. God bless.
Cyclone Pam destroyed 53 Seventh-day Adventist churches in Vanuatu, and churches are central to village life. I've been in villages where at 6 in the morning they gather for worship before they go out and work, and then after work they come together because community is built around church. So to rebuild churches in Vanuatu will really help community life. So let's give a little to help Vanuatu a lot. Donate at hopechannel.com.